Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.
Hi, everyone, and happy 2024. It's me, once again, your girl, Sonia Pearson. But tonight, this is my introduction to a brand new platform, Northeast Streaming Sports, where we have nightly football, sports, basketball, everything you can think of right here. And tonight, I have the very special privilege of introducing as my co-host tonight, the founder of Northeast Streaming Sports, none other than the Mac Man himself. Good evening, Mac. Happy New Year.
Well, good morning to you, and good morning, good evening. It's morning here somewhere. I don't know, but good evening to you. Happy New Year to you and everyone that'll be tuning in here tonight. Can't wait to get this going, Sonia.
Yeah. So tell us just a little bit about Northeast Streaming Sports, so we'll know how all of my followers can get on board and get all of the news round the clock on your platform here.
That sounds great. So.
All right, guys, good evening. Of course, all month long, we're dedicating our shows to producer and friend Mac McGrath, who we lost earlier this month. This being the last Friday of the month, just paying homage once again to the man, the myth, the legend, Mac McGrath, of course, the throwback there. I am Sonia, and this is Friday with the fellas, Prim and Proper Sports. I'm joined by Nate the Great and, of course, Bistrilla. Gentlemen, how are you all tonight?
Good. How you doing?
Just Ducky.
I am doing well. Of course, we're going to have a couple of other people dropping in here later on. Download the Roku app so you two can be in the know when we are live. 24/7 sports without the cost of cable. What's up, Monkey? Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, so the NBA, since the last time we met, thanks, first of all, for covering for me last Friday when I was on vacation. Bistrilla, I really appreciate that. You guys did a great show, you and Nate and everyone else that was on. Thank you so much for covering for me while I hung out with my sisters for the Memorial Day weekend. Really enjoyed the show. So this is my first Friday back. So hoping not to repeat anything you guys talked about. But since the last time I was with you all, we have the Thunder, who have really brought the Thunder and advanced to the finals. And they are just waiting on the winner from the Knicks and Pacers game. Knicks definitely not laying down, not giving up at all. And so you just have to always kind of look about like what's really going on. You know, I really felt like the Knicks had a strong presence that they may make 7 games out of this. What are you guys' thoughts?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. I mean, the reality is all the pressure is now on the Pacers, and, you know, they got to come out and they just got to really put it to the Knicks, because if this game is close going into the fourth quarter, it favors the Knicks because they got Jalen Brunson, who can go off at any time if he wants to. You know, the Pacers should win this next game, but we'll see. You know, Halliburton played like trash the last game, you know, and it's kind of fitting because all I heard on talk radio is like, he's a superstar of this, he's a superstar of that. Yeah, superstars don't score 8 points again in a closeout game. You know, if you want to be that guy that everybody's talking about, you don't score 8 points. So I do expect Halliburton to have a better game this next one,
He
but
was
we'll
definitely
see.
limited. He was definitely limited. He was
Yeah.
definitely limited. I mean, he was literally isolated. Before I go any further, I almost forgot. I'd like to dedicate tonight's show to my grandfather. Today would have been his birthday. Big sports fan in my family as well. Like literally, he and my dad and uncle were the ones that always exposed me to those games I really wasn't interested in as a kid. But I just want to wish him a happily, heavenly birthday to Gramps and to dedicate tonight's show. But yeah, definitely. I mean, this game has kind of been like a seesaw. I mean, in my opinion, a lot of people had Pacers without a doubt. Now you see the Knicks, kind of standing up, getting a little bit of life to them. Tom Thibodeau, known for literally projecting on those vets, not really relying much on the bench at all. But it looks like he tried to at least balance it a little bit more in Game 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely made some adjustments and adjusted, playing more players. Really what it comes down to, just watching this game as a whole, it just comes down to if the Knicks can play consistent defense. When they play consistent defense, the Pacers don't have an answer. That's where the Knicks play the best. So if New York can play that defense on the road in hostile environments and keep it close, they have a chance. But if the Pacers come out and just put it to them early, I don't know if the Knicks have enough to get back in the game because they're exhausted. They're exhausted. They're beat up. Like you mentioned, they don't play a lot of players. They just recently started playing some players. And so, yeah, it's tough to watch because I would love to see a Game 7, but I know that this team is on fumes right now. And, it might not be a bad idea to just let the Pacers advance where they are, but we'll see. I give it about a 30% chance of winning.
And let's welcome in J Train. Good evening, J Train. Good to see you tonight. Was wondering if you were coming in.
Good evening.
Yeah, so we're just talking about the Knicks game here. Of course, I mean, Knicks do really well on the road. They're like 6-2 in the playoffs on the road. So this is definitely, I'm pulling for them. They're the East Coast team. They were Mac's team. I'm definitely hoping that they can pull this out because no pun intended, teams have really struggled to keep pace with the Pacers, and that's what it's all about. They have literally played such a defensive weaponizing game that they have limited, guys like Ant-Man and all the big names that you would think. And then you see Jalen Brunson, playing his heart out literally for this team. Strilla, what were your thoughts from the game?
I know you guys are all hopeful about the Knicks, but what I saw in Indiana was a lackluster performance. They really didn't come there. They weren't really playing ball. After the first quarter, it's like,
Hi, Rob.
We want to go home and win the game. We want to go home and win this. I think what New York had to win that game, so they exalted a lot of energy to win this game. And going into Indiana, it's not a good thing for it. I mean, they could take it to 7 games. The Knicks could. I just don't see it. They're not deep enough to do that right now. They are tired. You can tell. Halliburton didn't have a good game, but I don't really think he was trying. A lot of those players are looking lackluster after the first quarter. Like, we're going through the motions.
Yeah, it's the last 2 games they've been playing so much. Like every other day they've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny.
Go ahead.
It's kind of funny too because watching these playoffs, there's a lot of times where I see a team just come out and literally give up halfway through the first quarter. Like it's like they don't even want to play, and it's just weird to see that because these are professional athletes. There's a lot of pride involved, and for you to come out and say, "Oh, we'll get in the next game." That's all fine and dandy, but as a team that is like the Pacers who are expected to win this series now, like you have to understand that you're going to have to play a pretty good game to win this next game because the pressure is all on you. Like the Knicks know that if they win this game, they're going back to the Garden and they probably will win the series. But
Yeah,
the
hello
thing
to
is,
Rochelle and excuse me, I'm
yeah, what's
sorry,
up,
Nick.
Robbie?
Hello to
No, you're good.
Rochelle, Robbie, and Pink Fanfur. Thank you so much. Of course, Pink Fanfur, the lady behind all our reels and promos. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Make sure you guys share. Sharing is caring. You don't want to get too far back on these comments. Of course, Robbie saying the Pacers just gave the momentum back to the Knicks. I agree 100%.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
Comment.
yeah. Go ahead.
Look, I'm pulling for the Knicks. I like the Knicks. I've always liked the Knicks since I was a young kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with B. Strilla on this. You're down 3-1. The percentages for teams to come back and win is 4.4. The odds are insurmountable. Is they're going to do it? They got to fall within that 4.4%. That's just what it is.
Well, I think it's when they're normally 3-1 down. They've already kind of overcome that deficit so far, and they're now.
That's what I'm saying. They were down 3-1. They were there.
Mm-hmm.
But usually most teams, when they come back and win a game 6, the other team, it's just too much. It's just too much. They got to win 3 straight. They got to win 3 games straight. Tomorrow, would be the second game. And then, of course, 2 days after that would be the third game.
Yeah.
You really think they can win 3 straight?
I mean, one game at a time. I'm not really certain on basically saying 3 straight. I'm saying I know they can win the next game, and that would force a game 7.
Actually, it's only 2 games because it's 3-2 right now.
They've already won 1.
I'm just saying, they won 1, right? I'm just saying, I'm going from the 3.3 to 1 stat. That's what they were down initially before yesterday's game. Yeah. That's a tough hill to climb. I'm not saying they're not going to do it. It's possible. It's possible. But in history of NBA, 4.4% have done it. That's all I'm saying.
You're right. History is definitely against them. I totally agree with you. You can't argue with that. But I will say this, that I think that going into this next game, they got to go quarter by quarter. They can't look at it as win this game, go the next game. They got to win every quarter. Like, and I'm telling you right now, if this game is like within 10 points in the fourth quarter, that favors the Knicks because they know that we got them right where we want them. And if Brunson is on, he can go off if he wants to. He still
it's been close though. It's been close.
Well,
except for the last game.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean,
last game they shut them out.
The last game they played in Indiana, the second game, like it was close throughout. You're right, absolutely. Halftime, I think it was within like 5 or 6 points. But I think that Indiana got a lot of momentum right at the fourth quarter where they got up by 20, and the Knicks had to play catch up. But it like I said, if they can keep it close going to the fourth quarter, all bets are off. Because
I wasn't a believer in the Knicks. I wasn't a believer in the Pacers at all in the beginning before the playoffs even started. I just started watching them. I was like, yikes. They look kind of scary.
Yeah,
they're a scary team. They're not just a good team. They're scary. Again, my projections now, after I've seen what I've seen, obviously OKC's already there. I thought they were going to get there. And I had the Knicks. I picked the Knicks in the beginning, but I just don't see it now. I don't see it. Not when you get down 3-1. It's just tough. That's going to be a tough one to overcome.
That's why they play the game. We'll see what happens.
Well, as everybody is saying, we'll see what happens. Of course, those two teams squaring off tomorrow, Saturday. Big game. And meanwhile, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is getting himself a much-needed break while he's awaiting the winner of that game. Good evening to our Huddle Sports Network and Elite Sports Entertainment Network. At the halfway mark, we will play their little promo here for the Huddle so you guys can know what they got going on. Of course, over there, thank you guys so much for having me on your platform. I mean, guys, it's time is winding down. Of course, June 1st is the deadline to start spreading out some of this cap money in the NFL. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. And got the NBA draft coming up June 25th and 26th in none other than New York. So, I mean, is this going to, either one of these teams, are they formidable teams enough to take care of the Thunder? Or do you guys see the Thunder winning it all no matter who they're playing?
I see the Thunder beating both teams. I mean, as much as I would love to give my Knicks a shot, I think they had a better shot than the Pacers do because of the talent that they have on that roster. But let's be real. Oklahoma City is really, really good defensively. Like they are historically probably one of the best defensive teams that we've ever seen play. And all their players can switch. All their players can guard 1 through 5. Like you talk about a cohesive unit on defense. They dismantled Ant Edwards. They literally took his soul away. Like so much to the point where he actually was talking crazy at the podium, saying that he was excited, that he was, going forward. Like he wasn't upset that he struggled. Like the guy was just splurting out stuff that I was like, are you kidding me? Like Kobe and Jordan would never say anything like that in their lives, ever. Like they would have been truthful and upfront, like, hey, I got to get better. Like they butt whooped me big time. Like he's so cool. He's Joe Cool. Like that's the best way to describe him. But they just dismantled that Anthony Edwards and they dismantled everybody else that was in front of him. This is a locomotive that will not be stopped. And I've already said on record, if it's the Pacers, they're going to sweep the Pacers. If it's the Knicks, it's probably a gentleman's sweep.
That's shocking because the Pacers have done so well that you're saying they would be swept. I mean, do you guys agree with that?
They haven't ran into a buzzsaw like the Thunder. I'll tell you that.
No, I think they're going to sweep both teams. I actually, to tell you the truth, I think Indiana gives them Indiana has a better chance of winning at least one game because they run up and down the floor with OKC. Will be running up and down the floor with OKC just the same. The Knicks are going to be too tired. As soon as OKC gets out there on the floor, they're going to be like, damn, I'm tired. For the Knicks, that is. I mean, it ain't going to be fair. It's not going to be fair.
I think the Pacers are a better matchup than both teams have depth. That's the thing. The Knicks just don't have the depth that you would want. Like they're missing a DiVincenzo or the other guy. I forgot the tall guy that they let go as well. They're just missing those high quality bench players. And I think OKC. Look, OKC kind of reminds me of they remind me of the Warriors a little bit. Outside of the Warriors in their prime. Let me get that straight. Let me put that out there. When they're homegrown, they had drafted all their players. Outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I mean, the rest of those guys were drafted by OKC, and
That's a fair comparison. I agree with them.
Yeah, I mean, they just really, man. That's how you put. If you building a team, that's what you want it to look like. And you got young guys that you got them on their rookie contract. Obviously, that won't last long. Considering if all of them are playing well, they're going to get, except Shea, probably will get Supermax. It depends on what they do. But man, it's just OKC is just a dominant team. I don't see them not winning. Sonya, to answer your question, I mean, I think they're going to win it. I don't think they'll sweep the Pacers. I think it's a much better series. I can see that going 7 actually. Just how the Pacers are playing.
I did not. No way.
Yeah, both teams. Look, the Pacers are better. I mean, let's just look at what OKC has faced. I think the Pacers are better, are almost like a mirroring image of that team. Halliburton and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are kind of comparable.
Let me push back on that for a sec.
Sure.
The thing is that, we talk about Oklahoma City outside of SGA. Oklahoma City's bread and butter is defense. That is their calling card. That is what they hang their hat on, is defense. You see what they did to an Ant Edwards, who is better than Halliburton, in my opinion. They made him look pedestrian. Okay. The thing is that when you watch this Knicks Pacers series, the difference in what you see is that everybody and their mother has beat up Jalen Brunson. Like everybody, all the bodies are all over Jalen Brunson. Nesmith, McConnell, Nemhard, all those dudes. They all are beating up Jalen Brunson. Okay.
And Cat.
Well, right, but I'm just saying Jalen Brunson right now. The thing is that when you watch the Knicks, they don't attack Halliburton. They refuse to do that. I do not understand why. They don't blitz him. They don't rough him up. They let him just make his life easy on defense. They don't go at him. So therefore, he has all the energy on offense to do what he has to do. I promise you, with Oklahoma City, they will take Halliburton completely out of the game, just like they did Anthony Edwards. They will put Dort. They will put Cason Wallace. They will put Anthony Caruso or Caruso on him. They will body and bruise him up, that they will force somebody else to have to beat them.
Anthony Edwards should never be in the same breath as Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or
I
LeBron
agree
James.
with
Because he is not consistent. He is not consistent. He has not done anything to show that he's grown.
Yeah.
He's talented. He's a very talented player. I want to see him grow.
Struggled.
He needs to work on his game.
I mean, and I agree that they put the defense on him, but he did nothing to improve. And then you can also say that might be on coaching. Maybe coaching didn't do anything to get him open or something like that. But at the same time, he did nothing to the counter in that regard. You don't just get stuck in. I mean, there's other players on the team. Make them all right. We're going to make everybody else shoot. They got to step up too. But what I want to say, which rebuttaling to what you said about Halliburton, Halliburton's a playmaker. To me, these two guys are two different players. They're two different players. He's a triple-double waiting to happen as well in Halliburton. So I think it's going to be, to me, that's why I think him and Shea are kind of similar. They're more like points. Even if they're, I mean, I don't know what Halliburton's true position is, but he plays point.
Point guard. He's a point guard.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. And I just don't see him as, I mean, and then he has I think his bag is a little bit better than Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards doesn't have a mid-range game. He doesn't have a mid-range game at all.
I mean, Strilla, what side are you on this one?
I mean, I agree with James to a point with him. But Halliburton, I mean, Halliburton is a good player. I kind of agree with Nate on that he's not the premier player yet. Okay. But he is up there, and I just want to say, don't let that last game fool you. That was just, like I said, nobody in Indiana played very well in that game. Nobody. It's like they just gave up. Like in the second quarter, I started seeing them pull away. I said, and I could see the look on their faces. They were like, and that's the problem with, and this is what we get in today's generation. This is what they do. You would never see that in the 90s. Or in the early 2000s, you would never see players do that in a playoff series. They would be fighting tooth and nail every game, and the talent would come up and win.
It's inconsistency of talent.
It's just a thing, I mean, you have this moxie that we're gonna win the game at home. So let's not try here instead of just winning it and wrapping it up, at their place. That's just it's you can't have that attitude, really, because that come back and bite you in the butt. It really can.
The home advantage, but you never know.
I mean, I don't think it's going to happen to Indiana, but I just think it's the point that you can't have that flippant attitude toward how you're viewing your playoff series. Can't do that. And that's another reason why I think that if they go to OKC, I don't think it's going to go 7. I don't even think it's going to come close to 7. I don't think it's going to come close to 6, to tell you the truth, because they have that flippant attitude. Now, OKC, when they got blown out by Minnesota, they got blown out by Minnesota. They were actually trying in that game to win that game, and they got blew out. That's because everybody from Minnesota showed up, and they just locked them down. Indiana just kind of like gave up in the second quarter in the last game. So, I mean, if you have a team that you can see that has a propensity to do that kind of stuff against a team that's really hungry for that championship, I mean, if it ends up being Indiana in OKC, I just don't see Indiana winning more than 2 games.
Yeah,
I give them that.
It'd be 4-2. I can see that, but I can also see 7-2 as well, just as talented as they are.
And also too, to kind of piggyback on B's point about the way the players' mentality is today. Now, it's like Halliburton's a good player. We all know that. He's a solid, really good player, but he doesn't have that dog in him. He doesn't have that assassin mentality. Like the guy only averaged 18 points in the regular season. That's pedestrian because when the rookie of the year only averaged 15, you're telling me you're
I'm
3
looking for
points
something.
better?
I can't find it. My Cap, because I'm calling Cap. Come on, man. You call that man not a dog when he held a choke sign up against your team? That's not a dog mentality?
Yeah, but I mean, first off, that shot didn't even win in the game. So
it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
But the thing
because
is,
the technicality was
okay.
Doesn't mean you're not a dog. Doesn't mean you're not a dog.
Let me put it this way. Do we think that you called him a playmaker. I agree with you. He is a playmaker. There's no doubt about that. So is Magic Johnson. Okay. Was LeBron, LeBron's a playmaker. Was Jordan a playmaker? No.
He's a shooter.
He was an assassin. He was an assassin.
But you don't have to not be a dog if you're a playmaker. There's points when you can actually say, I'm gonna instead of me passing off, I'm gonna take the shot and win the game here.
But has
LeBron done that too? Has LeBron done that?
I don't consider LeBron a dog. I consider him a playmaker.
Saying, that's why I figure you were saying that. Yeah. I'm just saying you don't remember that those. I think LeBron has the most clutch shots in the playoffs than anybody.
He's also missed the most clutch shots too.
It doesn't matter. You still got a dog mentality to take that shot.
If you want to argue that, it's a different type of dog way I look at it. Because when I look at
you call him a poodle?
Hold up. Let me make my point. When you look at Jordan and Kobe, those two are probably one of the biggest dogs out there. Like they listen. When Ant Edwards took 2 shots in the first half, that was freaking crazy. You're one of the best players. People are boasting you up as one of the faces of the league or whatever you want to say it. And you take 2 shots in the first half. You think Jordan and Kobe would have took 2 shots in the first half? Heck to the no. Like that's the difference. LeBron, I can see LeBron doing that because LeBron's a playmaker. He also says the same thing Ant said. I made the right plays. You think Jordan and Kobe would ever say that? Heck to the no. They would take that shot with 5 guys on them, and they would care less if they missed it. They took it. That's all they care about. But
to the point of this NBA generation, are there really any dogs in the NBA right now? Somebody that you could say
a lot of mutts. A lot of
mutts. A lot of mutts. That's what I say. Because like in the 90s, you couldn't count on your hands how many dogs were on every team. Every team had a dog on it. One guy that was going to take that game over. Whether it was Jordan, whether it was Magic, whether it was Reggie Miller, anybody of those. Patrick Ewing. Those are guys that were clutch when it came down to it. You don't have any of those players nowadays. You might have 1 or 2, like Steph Curry, maybe LeBron. Might be another one.
LeBron's more willing to pass and take a shot. Joker,
like
Giannis,
he said, he's taking the most clutch shots.
Wemby.
Yeah. But if the game's on the line, we've seen LeBron pass more for the better shot. Again, I'm not knocking his game. He makes the better play. But, however, we don't care. We want to see you take the shot because you're the man. Like, you can even say Luka is kind of like that dude because Luka is more of a guy who's just going to take that last shot. He doesn't want the ball in anybody else's hands. Like, Halliburton's going to make the play. Jalen Brunson's going to take the shot. That's the difference.
Every dog has a different – there's different dogs out there. So sure. I'm not going to just not say that
That's
Jordan and Kobe are the only dogs.
Right.
Yeah, But the thing is, if you're an assassin, though, you should make all your shots. You shouldn't be missing a lot of your shots.
That's why Jordan and Kobe are one of the best at what they did.
They missed a lot of their shots, though. A lot of people like to put that out there, but they've missed a lot of shots too. They've missed a lot more than they've made. I get it. They have the mentality to shoot, but percentages. LeBron is a very efficient shooter, and with the limited shots that he's taken, his numbers are much higher than everybody else's. In regards to him
playing a long time, but let me ask you something though. And I'm gonna
Guys,
leave it
we're
alone.
going to have to take a break here. It's time for our
Sure.
plug for the Huddle Sports Network.
Before it-
And we are at the halfway point of the show. I hate to interrupt here, but I know if not, I will not get this plug in. We will be back in 56 seconds, guys.
Yeah, yo, it's game time, ain't no messing around. Huddle Sports Network, the best in town. From NFL rumors to the latest trends, we got all your sports, just tune in, my friends. Catch us on Roku, Fire Stick, take your pick. Facebook, YouTube, where the action's slick. Daily shows that drop like a bomb. From 10 to 11, it's Ken and Ken, stay calm. Huddle up, catch the vibe, feel the rush. Get your news, get your fills in the clutch. Over 27 podcasts, we breaking it down. Join the team, Huddle Sports, wear the crown. Live every weekday, it's how we roll. Lions Talk with Jeremy B, we taking a stroll. From 11 to 12, don't miss a beat. We break down the game, make the info sweet. The Daily Huddle Podcast, noon to 1. CST Zone, we're just having fun. Toss your doubts, we bring the facts. Tune into the Huddle.
All right. And thank you so much to the Huddle Sports Network. Very catchy, upbeat, new and improved intro, outro. Thank you guys for having me on the NFC North. Those guys are the ones that run that thing. I mean, I'm kind of, like with B. Strilla and Nate the Great, I'm always drawn to the North. The North. All right, guys. So listen, we could literally have a whole show about dogs, kibbles and bits, pit bulls versus chihuahuas, etc.
Lawson is more of a dog than anybody.
Lawson is more of a dog. He is.
That's an actual dog.
Yes. Thank you so much, Bistrella. Let's move on because we have some breaking news that came out today. Still NBA related. Unfortunately, this is my thing. If you know that you stay on the injury list, you should not be out doing other stuff. There is now a 12-page civil complaint against none other than Zion Williamson being sued for allegations of rape, years of abuse, 2 instances documented from September and October of 2020 when she refused sexual encounters with him even though they were dating, and he choked her, threatened to kill her family, as well as took her phone from her where she was not able to call for help. And I mean, guys, this is insane, shocking. This stuff starts before the NBA. This starts allegedly from 2018 when he was still with Duke. I'm just finding out about it like as we were coming on here tonight. But I mean, J-Train, this is the Pelicans. I know you don't really ride for them too hard, but we've already talked about this guy needs to be off the team anyway. He's just a catalyst for injuries to the organization, has not really brought much to the table, and now this.
Like you said, these are allegations. I read through the one of the articles regarding it, and I guess it's the wait and see situation because I'm not against what the person said. I'm always going to take that seriously. I mean, you put something out there, it needs to be taken seriously, and obviously you need to go through the system to figure out whether or not the person did, what they're accused of. With that said, this is the climate where everybody's collecting the bag.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just, I don't know how to, except I don't know how to receive this or you put yourselves in these positions. It's just, I think Deion Sanders said it best. He had a young lady come on that and speak to his players in Colorado and to let them know what she's able to do to get money out of guys.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be careful. You just got to be careful in your situations. And I hope he didn't do these things. I hope not. But if he did, I hope justice is coming to the victim. It's just you just don't know what the situation is, and I just want to wait to due process, let it play out, and see how this goes.
Well, this situation wouldn't be necessarily just differentiating between criminal and civil. This wouldn't be a due process situation. This would just be so civil. You just have to basically, have basically enough to say. So even if she was partially, say they were dating, in a civil suit, both parties are reasonably balanced as far as who's to blame. But if you have like it's the 48%, if you can do 50% that he did do these things and she was against it, then it's civil. Criminal is, of course, beyond a reasonable doubt. Like they must be without a reasonable standard, like a common sense approach. Like there's no way this person could have done X, Y, Z. But this is always my thoughts on it. Of course, I want people to be able to play out for whatever's right for them in either case, because I know people do go out there and grab the bag and make these allegations. This is 2025. I'm trying to figure out why these are just now coming out 5 years
That's what I'm
later.
saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's
you
fishy
know,
right there by itself.
And to be honest with you, certain states, there is a statute of limitations of 2 years. I think some states have 3 years, with the exception of these types of crimes. We don't take anything from anybody, but I've always been accused by my friends of thinking like a guy, because I just am like, you know what? Where is that one friend that she told this years ago? Where is any proof of this? Where is, if you are so-called going to say that someone did this to you, you should be going to the hospital. And especially with the second incident, it said it was violent and she was choked where she feared for her life. You need to be going to the hospital. Like, this is 5
Call the cops.
Well, she couldn't. He supposedly took her phone for an extended period of time. But listen, when you get that phone back,
dear, come on.
When you get this phone back, or we can look at it from the other side. It could be, maybe she wants him back now and he doesn't want to have anything to do with her. And she's, crying wolf because she's mad about it.
I read in the bottom of the article from his lawyer's point of view is that the relationship was consensual. They were not dating. From the lawyer's perspective, that's what they're saying. They were not dating, and when things didn't go well and when it ended, extortion started to come, and that he even talked to the police about extortion prior to this incident.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, they're gonna be very careful. They said how they litigate this, because I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I am so tired of seeing something every week about some celebrity on the news from 10, 15, 20 years ago with somebody. And I mean, even Smokey Robinson, like, oh my God, like there's a couple other people that came out today. I'm like, listen, at some juncture, the courts have to step in and be like, what is credible and what is not credible? Because certain courts, like if you went to a court of appeals, they don't even hear every single case because they know this is a BS case. Like they know on a lower level, this is how they ruled. There's no need for you to appeal it, because we have hundreds of people that are trying to appeal on a daily basis, if not more. And it's the Court of Appeals is per state. So everybody in that state could be appealing whatever it is, criminal or civil. I just hope that justice and the truth really come out on this. And to be honest, guys, if this is all false, Zion himself has a case for defamation against this young lady.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially with the contract situation coming up soon. And the fact is that he might be traded. He could be looking at different sceneries and all that.
Funny how this came out when he's getting ready to get another contract.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see that? And then on top of that, now I'm not trying to discredit the woman, okay? But there's going to be enough times when these women, and I'm sorry because that's basically all most these suits are, women versus men, that they're just going to do so many falsified extortions that if one of these athletes does commit actual crime against this, who's going to believe the woman? You're messing it up for everybody else behind you because you keep doing this dumb stuff where you're trying to extort money from these and trying to defame their name at the same time. And then what happens when the actual player goes out of control and actually does that, and there's no documentation or no footage or anything of that, and then they try to bring it to court and this gets thrown out, even though the victim is a victim.
Yeah, that lets you know, though, the fact that they're not trying to do a criminal suit, they're just going straight for the money. That's to me when it's like, okay,
civil's hush hush.
Feared for your life, but I will tell you guys this: sometimes people file civil suits and the state is aware of it, and then they end up bringing charges anyway against the person because they're like, wait a minute, there is enough evidence. We've looked at this, and this is not just, okay, let me pay you and you go away. These acts were committed, and now you are facing an indictment. So I will tell you, like I told, I think it was Jack, we were talking about someone else that was facing the same situation. I was like, why would you pay if you're innocent? If you're innocent, you're not gonna settle.
It was OJ.
Yeah, you're not gonna settle if you're innocent. You're settling because there's enough there, there's substantial evidence there that at a minimum you had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a consensual relationship. We don't know what was done within that relationship and what considered as consensual, what's not consensual. That's a whole debate within itself.
I mean, consensual is just an age process. What you actually do, even if the woman, even if they had a flagrant, and I don't count what's a consensual, affair anyway? Isn't it dating anyway? I mean, what you say, it was a one night hit it and quit it, or I don't understand what the whole situation is for the date thing. Because if he was dating her, he was dating her. Whatever, doesn't make a difference. If she refused to have sex with him, I mean, yeah, that'd be a problem as long as she has proof to back that up or documentation to back that up. And like Sonia said, if it's being brought into the civil court, then I don't really think there's much to do about anything on her side. I think she's just trying to get that bag.
What I think
and
is interesting
this is the problem that I'm saying. Every chick's going to do this, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring every woman all into this because they're not always the ones that have the issues. But I'm just saying it just seems like you put this in the front court. Then what happens is later on when somebody does create a heinous crime, it's just going to go unnoticed because you've done all this complaint. Nobody's going to. It's like crying wolf.
Yeah,
you're crying wolf, and then nothing's.
What also too I think is interesting is the fact is, why did he threaten to take her phone?
And
like what was on
one of the things that
what was on the phone that he felt that he needed to like threaten to take it, take it from her. Like that right there sounds pretty bad for him. Because obviously, if you're go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, listen, I'll be very clear about this. Like, this happened 7 years ago. If this was serious to you to the point to where you felt like your life could have been threatened or something like that, you would have came forward a long time ago. And the reality is that this BS about he's trying to take my phone. Go get another phone. There's called burner phones.
And there's a repeated incident of it. So it happened in September, and then the next month it happened again. Like, why? There's something off right there. Why would you continue to be with someone that did that?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's sufficient about it.
This particular case, I mean, or like all the other cases, a lot of times people are looking to collect out of court settlement because, and a lot of, because I think when I understand the advice that is given to the defendant or the person that's being accused is that you want to get this done with. You don't want to go get dragged through a whole court. Even if you do win, it's just your name has been out there dragged with this. You want to kind of push this to the side and go ahead and settle and be done. And I think a lot of people know this. And so at minimum, they think they could get, something out of court, some sort of settlement.
But whoever's also advising this defendant also needs to know that you're going against a professional athlete, a popular professional athlete, even though his game is not as good as people think it is. He's still a popular guy, and he's got a lot of money, which means he's got a high-priced lawyer that he could definitely throw at you. So I don't understand why you would even poke the bear in that situation. Like, why even go that far?
Because he's silly. This is the thing. Forget the person that's accusing, but the presumably accused has a track record of doing some dumb things with women out, and so they know who you are. They see your habits. They see what you do, and this person has been with him, so she know how easy it is to go this direction if she's even doing that. If this is not true.
I didn't know that he had a history of this. When I
say a history, I mean he's got like a side chick. A lot of them, he's got.
Y'all know more about him than I do. I just follow whatever's on the court. So
yeah, his business is coming out there. I mean, it's like Anthony Edwards with the baby mama drama. Yeah.
Well, I mean, drama aside, okay, you got young athletes out there making money no matter what professional sport it is. You know, me and Nate were talking about JMO on Alliance earlier about him being young and immature about doing stuff like that, and he's still posting stuff. But at the same time, I would be fighting that tooth and nail. I'm not taking no, because you're not going to accuse me of that kind of heinous act. No way. I might be a jokester. I might be a nut. I might be an a-hole. I might be any of that. But I'm not the guy that's going to go out there and say you're going to say is raping you and busting you up outside your head, suffocating
that's jail time.
you.
That's jail time right there, brother.
Right. You're not going to do that. You can go at me any other way, but you're not coming at me that way. So you're going to have to take this to court, sweetie. Too bad. That's all I got to say.
And it's all about optics too. Like the thing is, when you look at the situation, GMs are going to look at that situation. Whoever trades for him now is going to look at that situation. The New Orleans Pelicans might want to get off of his contract now. So now Zion's in a situation where he might not even be wanted by anybody else because of the situation, because no team wants to deal with an open investigation. Yeah. They don't want to deal, especially somebody who you're asking is going to want a pretty good amount of money. You know,
and he's got a history of injuries anyway, so you're not even bringing nothing to the table.
Right.
Yeah, let's you know, of course, as I say, the verdict is out, and literally the verdict is out on this one. Let's switch over, guys, to some baseball news. Mike Trout returns. Angels activated him from injured list after a month-long absence due to his left knee injury. Of course, the Yankees-Dodgers matchup is this weekend. Highly anticipated series between the New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers. For you guys who don't know the history, the Dodgers were the former Brooklyn Dodgers. So a lot of New Yorkers still supporting the LA Dodgers, even though they moved. And Max Fried just playing his best games, pitching. I mean, former Braves, I miss him so bad. I could barely contain myself to say that. That series is now underway, and much discussion is being held about which team is going to have the edge at each position. Of course, you got injuries to certain pitchers. Tigers, Jackson Jobe went on IL with a flexor tendon strain. And the Braves, speaking of, AJ Smith-Shawver tore his UCL. Astros, Lance McCullers Jr. received security, 24-hour security, because he has been getting online threats. Guys, this is crazy.
Yeah,
So
people should chill out. Like, come on. I mean, if your life is that bad where you have to threaten somebody's life, like, come on, man. Like, do it to yourself first.
Yeah.
Like,
go and
movie The Fan with Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes.
Go and don't take
it. Yeah.
And can I say something really quick about the pitching thing? Because I think this is definitely becoming a serious issue in baseball. Listen, they have got to limit games. These pitchers are getting worn down, because the thing is that every pitching coach will tell you the same thing: throw harder and we'll get you out of the game. Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is that a lot of these dudes go 7 innings sometimes before they get pulled. Yep. Imagine just yourself going outside, throwing as hard as you can for, I don't know how long 7 innings is, maybe 2 or 3 hours, maybe 2 hours,
it is.
You would be exhausted. You wouldn't be able to do anything the next day.
Your arm's going to be killing you.
Right. And then take this example. They tell them to do this in AAA. They tell them to do this in high school. They tell them to do this in college. So where's the protection for the pitchers? Like, literally, because like that is a big part of what baseball is pitching. And you are overusing and you are killing your best pitchers' careers, because once you get Tommy John, once you get UCLs, you're done. You lose a lot of that velocity, and you're not the same pitcher after that. It's very far and few. And so I really think that they need to just lessen these games. It is way too many games for these pitchers to be throwing over 100 miles per hour game in and game out. You're going to see more of these injuries, and you're going to see a lot of your good pitchers be like running backs. They're going to have like 2 or 3 years shelf life, and that's it. And they're going to go for the next best player. Like, something's got to be done. This is ridiculous. I was thinking
the same thing. That's funny you brought it up, because I was like, these pitchers are really worn down. I mean, and then because the only thing you were doing is you bring your closer in to close the game. They're not there to be a reliever. Like, what happened to the days of relief pitchers?
Well, relief pitchers only last about maybe half an inning sometimes.
They still got
maybe an inning
relief
at the
pitching.
most. You know,
there's still plenty of relief pitching. You guys are crying over spilled milk. It ain't gonna ever happen because that's the way Major League Baseball has been since they started. So until you come up with a better viable thing, and instead of tear shedding about the whole situation, it ain't gonna change. Those pitchers. That's why a lot of teams have 5 pitchers on rotation. That's why you have a lot of extra pitchers behind them that are relief pitchers, that are mid-relief pitchers. But
if Skubal goes out with an ACL or whatever, UCL or a Tommy John surgery, you know darn well that there's no pitcher that's going to match Skubal. Skubal's a Cy Young winner. You know, like there's no way replacing those kind of guys. Yeah, you've got other depth, but is that depth even near what Skubal is? No. Come on.
I mean, that's just the part of the game, man. That's just injuries. That's the same excuse. Look, if you want to go to the same excuses, that's the same excuse the Lions used about the defense. It doesn't make a difference. You got to go out there and play with what you have. So
if
Skubal
gets injured, I don't want to hear that either. B, I'm with you, B, because like Drew Brees, he tore his shoulder up in football, but I mean that was before he went to the Saints. He failed a medical examination when he went to Miami and then came to the Saints. And when he came there, that was the most prolific offense that the Saints ever had. And his yards, he put him up. You just gotta be able to be, I don't know, you gotta be in shape and take care of your arm, man. It's just what it is. That's not gonna change, like you said. I agree with you. Just add more pitchers. Add more pitchers to your.
They do, but the thing is, the season's just too long. They need to cut the season down.
The seasons are not too long. They're going to be 160
a lot of games
every year.
A lot of games.
That's all there is to it.
They have actually said they've looked into it. So hopefully,
I would think of that because it's a punk, leagues that are out here. So I can see them saying that.
All right, as we
taking all the fun out of game, every league. Anyway,
get ready to close out here with the NFL. We got about 8 minutes, guys. Of course, our favorite topic. It was. Let me just go ahead and put this out here because Nate and Bistrilla are not in the NFC South, and I do want to put that out there. I saw a video earlier today that people are basically speaking about the Panthers are probably the only team in the South that have addressed all of their issues, and so once again, I say we're coming. Okay, we're coming.
I have to laugh at that because that's not true.
Yeah, I'm sorry that your win loss is going to look like the opposite of ours for the season.
Oh, okay.
Of course, I was on with Nate and Bistrilla. They said that the Panthers would go 10-7. That's their bet, and that's actually a really good bet, to be honest with you. But I'm going to say we're only dropping 4, maximum 5 games, and they will not be part of the NFC South. Okay, moving along.
Oh no! Don't just move along. I am a part of the South here.
You don't have a quarterback. So, you guys are garbage. So.
We have a lot that we face. We have a lot of movement. Hey, you remember that picture I sent you with the tall quarterback with all the little quarterbacks and everybody else? Yeah.
He's not proven. He's an unproven quarterback.
We'll see.
J-Train, all jokes aside,
he can rattle him up out of there.
Who's looking as the favorite right now in OTAs, or who's looking good right now?
Between Rattler right now looks like he has a leg up because obviously he has the experience with last season. Bistrilla is still covering his face. I think Rattler definitely has a leg up, but I like what I've been seeing from Shuck, man. I'm not surprised.
What about Hainer?
Rookie? No. First of all, he got hurt in OTAs, some torn oblique or something like that. So Hainer might be just sitting on the bench.
The fact that they're fighting for a QB position is all I need to know. We're already set in Carolina. Speaking of, the Vikings have extended their general manager. Today they signed Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah to a multi-year extension. The 49ers did acquire Bryce Huff. San Francisco looking like they're finalizing that trade today to acquire the edge rusher. A lot of edge rushers taken in the draft as well from the Eagles. Patrick Mahomes basically calling himself an old man, saying he's not playing in Olympic flag football because that's for the younger guys. Okay,
Or
Pat.
should he? He shouldn't play.
I mean, you're injury prone anyway. You don't want to risk your bejeweled legs. The Giants have solidified their Jackson Dart contract for his rookie year, their first round pick. Congratulations to Jackson. Guys, Shador Sanders, they said he's balling out up there in Cleveland. I mean, they literally don't be shocked to see him walk out there from day one. I mean, I thought that he may start maybe game 3, 4, 5. No, he's coming game 1. Steelers and Aaron Rodgers dramas.
OTAs, everybody looks awesome.
Carry on. Aaron Rodgers, there's rumors now that even though he said he would not mind being retired as a Packer, now he's basically saying he is holding out that they may be still signing him in July. I'm like, dude, please take your butt home. Take your butt home and sit down.
I think retirement is definitely more on the table for him than anything else. I really do, because I don't think that you want your last memories of football to be on your butt, getting knocked around all the time and your team losing mightily. Like, I don't think he wants that. I think that if he wanted to, he could just walk away and he would still be a Hall of Famer.
Everybody can't be John Elway.
Yeah.
And retire when you're at the top.
It's very true.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just kind of tired of that whole conversation at this point. Like he's decided, he's found a way to continue to make himself relevant this far after he's not.
We make him relevant by talking about him.
It's not him making himself relevant. It's Pittsburgh.
But let's be clear, guys. This is the thing. He will not. So it's not really about a relevance thing. It's about the fact that they are making this saga so long, so drawn out. No one's picked him up. Pat McAfee did his whole big tease show that we know about. But at the end of the day, it's like Aaron Rodgers has already made his mark. And even if they sign him today, he's not going to participate with the team. He's not going to show up at OTAs. He's not going to do nothing. He's going to be on his mushroom sniffing convention that he was last year when he got signed with the Jets.
Well, he's 40 years old. He is not going to have to learn too much of how to be a quarterback.
Yeah, but meshing with your team, like just the commonality of being around your teammates, is it like it's you over here and them over here? Yeah, no, he's way over.
I think he'll be signed probably closer to training camp, because that's really where it matters, because that's where you put the pads on. That's where you put a lot of the installs and all that stuff. Right now, it's just underwear. It's playing in your underwear, like throwing in air and all that stuff. Like, yeah, you're building reps, but you're not doing anything special, like you're just.
Thank you, Pink fan first. Said we are coming for all y'all haters. Thank you, Pink. Steve-O, how are you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, Monkey, I'm not gonna put your comment up there. Steve-O says after June 1st. Okay, June 1st is on Sunday. And he does live his life in cliques and stuff. You need team chemistry. You can't have that if you're not there. Absolutely. And his life doesn't even revolve around football. He's right. He's always talking about these personal issues that he's got. And I'm like, dude, you've made your money. If you've got so many personal issues, handle those.
He just likes the attention. He's an attention whore. He likes the attention.
I have to agree with Nate. I know we got to close out, but I have to agree with Nate. I just think he's going to play football. He's just not going to play any of the extracurriculars prior to training camp.
That's actually smart for him, because then he just gets into the nuts and bolts of it.
Definitely a prima donna.
And he's just there. That's how I look at it. If they sign him, he's just going to be there. Whether he misses whatever and gets acclimated in training camp, he's just going to be there. How effective is he going to be for the team? You want a quarterback that's going to win games. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is in that mind mode right now.
I just don't. What, if Will Howard keeps playing well like he's in the OTAs and looking impressive, he might not have a debate anymore, because people like Will Howard.
We shall see. We shall see. Guys, it's been fun as always. Myself, Jay Train, Bistrilla, Nate the Great. This has been Friday with the Fellas. It will re-air at 2 a.m. on the Roku Network. And thank you so much for everybody, the likes, loves, and comments. And in the morning, Jay Train and Jack will be joining you guys. I may be there, I guess, maybe behind the scenes. It's super early for the debate show. Sunday morning, big sports show. wish everybody a great weekend. You guys be safe, enjoy everything, and y'all know what? Keep pounding.